I was editing this part 3 video and I was making absolutely no sense. I couldn't even cut the video to make it make sense. So I'm re-recording that video. This is part 3. I'm talking about what was going through my head when I was in the waiting room with the knowledge that I had a miscarriage. And I'm sharing this to be really authentic. First thought I had, and this is instinctual, and maybe this is just conditioning, or maybe society puts this on us. The first thought in my head was, what did I do wrong? And I started going through the past 11 weeks of this pregnancy thinking like all the pregnancy knowledge that I had, I was going through all of that and thinking like, where did I mess up? What did I do wrong? How did I make this happen? Immediately when my brain started to go into this spiral, I caught that and realizing like, Haley, this is ridiculous. Like from a scientific perspective, it doesn't make sense that this is your fault. And even if it was your fault, how is it going to help you to sit here and blame yourself? When you have that moment of self-blame and you're starting to spiral, and I think this happens with a lot of loss, and like that's like the bargaining part of grief is like, well, what if I did this? Or what if I did this? What if I did this? And what's wrong with me? And why did this happen to me? And all of those thoughts, it's totally normal to have those thoughts. I had those thoughts. You're not a bad person for having those thoughts. There's nothing wrong with you for having those thoughts. They're valid feelings. The question I asked myself was, is this serving me? And in yoga, we talk about this a lot. And when you do positive affirmations, this is something that comes up. When I asked myself, is it serving me to have those thoughts? The resounding answer was no. It's not benefiting me right now. Right now, I'm grieving a loss, even if it wasn't as significant as other losses, and that doesn't even matter because we don't need to compare our losses to other people. Is it going to make me feel better or comfort me to be doing this to myself? And the answer is no, it's not. It's not going to comfort me. It's not going to help me. It's not going to make me feel better. And in that moment, I needed comfort. I needed love. I needed support. And I think we all do in those moments of grief and loss. And you deserve to provide that for yourself too. And so instead of going down this path of what ifs and what could be wrong and what could go wrong, I really did consciously and intentionally choose to let those thoughts go and to focus on what I knew to be true. Cells divide. When cells divide, the chromosomes split up. And that's a cellular process. And guess what? Even if you are a perfectly healthy person, in your body right now, there could be a cell that's dividing incorrectly. It has a DNA mutation that makes that cell not functional, not viable, not compatible with life. Your body can recognize that, and your T cells get rid of that. And so that's what leads to cancer, is when your T cells don't recognize that you have a cell differentiation, division that has gone wrong. So every single day, cells are dividing in your body, in everybody's body. And the reason we are alive is because it goes right. It's amazing that it goes right. It's a miracle that it goes right. It's like a wonder of science. It's beautiful. And if you have a healthy, beautiful baby, that is a miracle, because that cellular process of division and the cells determining what they're supposed to do and what they're supposed to turn into is truly a miracle. After a semester of embryology, I was like amazed at all the things that have to go right for you to give birth to a baby. And people say that like a baby is a miracle, but when you're having a miscarriage and a loss, that's why we say it's a miracle, because miscarriages happen, especially in the first trimester. It is statistically significant, the number of people that experience a miscarriage, and you probably know someone that has, and maybe it's something they don't talk about because we don't talk about it. And that's part of the reason why I'm talking about this, so that you can know in that moment, it is not your fault. This happens. It's random. There's no order to it. It's biology. And if you have a spiritual belief, then you might have this is happening to you for a reason, and maybe there's a journey that you need to experience and grow from. Either way, having the train of thought that this is your fault and there's something you could have done differently to prevent this from happening it wasn't serving me. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. I had to tell myself that I was worthy, I was enough, and I deserved love and comfort, even from my own brain and my own thought processes. And I do a decent amount of self-love work and positive affirmations. Sometimes it feels very silly to be telling myself, I love myself, I'm worthy, I respect myself. But that work that I put in, and this was months ago that I've been doing this work, it supported me in this moment, in this spiral, this tornado of self-blame and bargaining and trying to fix something that can't be fixed. Sometimes it's out of our control, and that is so hard. And when you have a personality like mine where you're in control a lot, knowing that I couldn't control this situation was really tough. And like I said, with the pregnancy, I was controlling everything. I was tracking everything. I was taking the vitamins. I was doing all of these things that I had control over. But at the end of the day, I didn't have control over those cells dividing correctly and resulting in a viable embryo. I didn't have control over that. I didn't cause that. It's so hard. It is so hard in that moment to convince yourself of that. It's easier to blame yourself, and it's easier to go down this spiral of what could I do right and what could I do better. And it was so hard for me, and I honestly am so proud of myself for having the mental fortitude to tell myself that, Haley, you are a beautiful, amazing person. You are experiencing a loss, and there is nothing you did to cause this. And I hope if you're watching this and you're experiencing a loss, that you know that you deserve love and you deserve compassion,